Hello, good afternoon, happy new year to you all. I'm just gonna give it a couple more seconds and let this catch up and see who joins us. I really hope you can all hear me properly. So you'll probably tell that I'm a little bit husky. I've picked up this dreaded lurgy over the last few weeks. And I even to the point where I should have done this live, or we had planned to do this live on Monday. But I was so full of it that I was kind of said, I can't do it. I can't go on. So I know no one would be able to understand me, and I'd probably sit here blowing my nose for the entire 20 minutes, which is no one wants to see that. So I've left it a few more days, and whilst the cold is kind of out of me, it's left me with a very croaky voice. So I do hope you can understand me. As such, what I will do is kind of try and blast through some of these roundup points. You're right, it is a December roundup. It's not January's because we're not through January yet. January will be at the end of the month. We are going to be going through, or I'm going to be going through some of the main headlines from December about social media changes. For anybody who is new to watching this or catches this on the replay, this is something I've actually been doing now. I was just speaking to Becky in the office. This is something I've been doing now for 3 years. So I started the business in 2015, and it was in May 2016 that I had recognized the power of live video. I saw where it was going, I saw its importance, and I decided to start, or I asked myself, how could I provide value to my potential clients, to my audience, using this tactic of live video? And that's where I came up with the social media roundups. So I thought I would stream live every month on Facebook and tell people what had changed in social media that month. Because as we know, things are always changing. I always get questioned, or I get told by a lot of potential clients that they find it really frustrating trying to stay on top of things. And 1 month Facebook Live is in, 1 month is out, and etc. etc. So I really wanted to create a feature on my own social channels that really highlighted the main changes in social and how that would impact a business. So yeah, 3 years down the line, and it's still going strong. And it's one of the things that I get a lot of feedback about. So it's something that I'm keen to keep up with. It does mean we are developing it, this year. We're going to start putting all of the headlines of our blog, the stuff that I talk about, on the website as a blog post. So rather than me putting all the articles listed in the comments, I will start putting them on a blog post instead, so you guys can read the full articles on there. If you follow us on Instagram and you just want the headlines, we're also going to be putting the headlines on our Insta stories once a month at the end of the month. So do keep a lookout on that. And if you are connected with me on LinkedIn, we're going to put all the updates on there as well. But enough of that. That was the history. Thank you all. I hope you've had a great Christmas and a lovely New Year. Thank you for joining me. We've got a few people watching. Thank you so much. Let's crack on. As I said, I'm very croaky, so I'm not going to spend too much time because you might not be able to hear me very well. But let's get on with some of these headlines for you that Becky has done a sterling job again, bringing together some of the key things that have changed in social media last month. We started talking about LinkedIn. We just touched on LinkedIn, so let's stay there. A couple of things that have changed LinkedIn last month was the fact that they've brought back the option to invite connections to like a company page. So this was something that they had ages ago, and it kind of died out. And particularly for small businesses, I have a lot of conversations about whether the power is in the profile or whether they should be building a company page on LinkedIn. Now, before this update kind of came out, and I still will say that the power is all in your profile. It's about the circle that you build, the connections that you're building, and how you use that profile. If you're a really large company, having a company page is uber useful for discovery, and for employee proposition, and kind of setting a view of what you like as a company to work for. From a small business perspective, it's great, again, for discoverability, and just as a kind of bookmarking tool that says, this is what Naturally Social, as an example, is about, this is what we do, and here's all our employees. But I wouldn't ever advise putting time and effort into putting content out on your LinkedIn corporate page, because it just doesn't get the same exposure and the same reach as you can get using your profile. However, bringing back this option to invite connections to follow a company page could sway that a little bit. If we can build up a company page following, it means that we'll be able to streamline the content that we're sharing from a company page versus a profile. And as we start to build brand advocates and employee advocates for the brand, then we'll be able to have a separate content strategy for each one of those channels. So yeah, I think this is a cool feature. It's great to see this come back in. It can only be utilized by page admins to avoid, for one part of, mostly spam. But there are a few other kind of restrictions, let's say, to stop you from using this in a spammy way, which is in the full article that we'll put out on the blog post link. The other thing that LinkedIn are making changes to are its group features. So I've never spent much time in LinkedIn groups because I find them so massive and the content is just so difficult to keep on top of. And that's the same with a lot of online forums. You really need to integrate tools around moderation and search in order for the content in groups to be useful to both you as a consumer, as a user, and as a business. So the new features that LinkedIn has brought in, I think, is really going to help engagement for both group admins and users of the platform. So you, as an admin, you can now moderate new posts. You can set that function on, so anyone that posts in that, you can view it, preview it, and approve it. There will be a new invitation setting, so group admins can now allow or prevent other group members from inviting connections to a group, which means it's going to provide more control over the growth and the size of the group, but also the relevance of its members. So this is very much like what Facebook groups have as well. You will be able to filter members. So in a group where there are tons and tons of people already in it, you will have the options to locate people based on their location, industry, their company, or their school. So really great for prospecting, potentially, if you have a massive worldwide group. I think that's going to be a great feature. Excuse me. You have more moderation tools for members who are potentially abusing groups on LinkedIn. So that includes the ability to delete all posts from a member in a group, to block a member from commenting, and to block a member entirely from a group. You will also be able to search for content in a group as well. So whether that's through topics or by a specific member, you will be able to search and filter through the content that's in there. So that's all brilliant, well and good. Group members will also be able to find group posts that have been recommended by admins. And you'll also be able to refine group notifications so that you can make sure that members are getting the best experience of those groups, and will be able to see the best stuff and filter through spam. Again, hopefully that will ensure that engagement is authentic on the right type of stuff, and that people aren't just leaving groups on LinkedIn because they think it's full of spam. So I'm just going to have a drink there and keep the moisten that. Hopefully you can all still hear me and I'm not too squeaky. Okay, so what else did we came across? Lots more reporting and ad metrics on across a variety of channels. Facebook has introduced cross-account reporting, which means that if you manage multiple ad accounts, you'll be able to see all in one place in one dashboard instead of filtering between different business managers. That's quite advanced there, so I won't go into too much detail on that. But if you do if you're an advertiser across multiple accounts on Facebook and you want some support, then just hit me up, pop me a message. But the full article will be on the blog post if you want more details. Twitter is also expanding access to brand survey tools so that they can understand how their tweets and their campaigns are performing better, and allow them more capacity to measure their ad performance, which is cool. Again, the full story on that one will be in the blog post. And then a lot of the rest of the stuff, Snapchat as well has updated, has introduced a recognition triggered ads with popular brand logos, which I thought was really fun and kind of still emphasizes that Snapchat is a good channel for advertising if your audience are on there. So Snapchat is moving forward with its Snapchat scan ad option, which enables users to scan a brand logo in order to unlock a unique AR experience. So Coca-Cola and McDonald's will be the first brands to try out this new option, which will enable users to hover over a brand logo with Snapchat camera, and it will then recognize that and unlock this interactive experience. So a great way of introducing that kind of gamification and advertising. Brilliant if you've got the big budgets to do that. I'm sure it's not something that's going to be affordable for SMEs, but advertising on Snapchat is possible for SMEs. It is affordable depending on what type you use, and they are opening up the controls that you can actually do it from a dashboard and the mobile app as well. So don't completely discount it if that's where your audience are. Okay, so moving on then. That's all advertising. What time we're at? 13 minutes. Our other updates are all about that was very high. Are all about Instagram. So we've had quite a few changes last month on Instagram, some new features which have been really cool. Let's see, what should we discuss first? So age restriction options for businesses and creator accounts. So last year, Instagram introduced the need to input your date of birth when setting up a new account. Obviously, this isn't 100% foolproof. You have to be over the age of 13 to use Instagram. But previously to last year, you didn't actually have to enter a date of birth in order to be approved on the channel. Now you do. And then last month, it was announced that businesses are going to have the option to set age restrictions for followers of their profiles. So they're going to require people to be a certain age to see your account, including your profile, posts, and stories. So businesses will be able to set up variable age limits for different countries, which could be particularly helpful for brands that are looking to adhere to regional restrictions. So, for example, in Australia, people can drink, and in the UK, can drink at 18. In the US, you have to be over 21. So if you are an international brand, for example, you will be able to set these restrictions up for your post content to ensure that actually you adhere to advertising standards in particular for those countries. So the updates show that Instagram is looking to take more action on this front around safety concerns, and it's ensuring that it is going to ensure that it's limiting exposure of adult content to younger users. So there's still some way to go, but this obviously shows how Instagram is taking this seriously for sure. In last month's roundup, we discussed, or sorry, in November, we discussed about Instagram stories adding a new grid feature, which is now live and has been rolled out. So if you open up your stories now on Instagram, you've got more creative abilities for your content, including a grid selection, so you can put multiple pictures into one story in one slide, which is really cool. We're really liking that. Always remember to update your app to get the new features, by the way. So this also provides a range of presentation styles which you can scroll through and then take pictures, and it will formulate it all together in one place. Instagram has also launched a new influencer dashboard feature. So this is ultimately cutting out the middleman, potentially, of influencer agencies, and instead trying to bring the brand and the influencer together on its own platform. So brands can find influencers can show what they're capable of, what they do, and what sort of things they love, and what their audience insights look like. And then those two people can ultimately create a deal together and a brand partnership. I think on the back of Instagram removing the amount of likes on each post, this is a way of them trying to create more authentic connection between the brands and the influencers to have that conversation about what they actually add value to in their community. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. And they've even said in the article that we had, Instagram is a cash cow, raking in $10 billion per year. So we think their new influencer dashboard release ties in perfectly to force brands into using Insta ads or their new influencer dashboard instead of using third-party influencer agencies. So yeah, interesting stuff. That's what we like to see. I will, for one, be taking a look at that. And what else have we got? Third-party fact-checking on questionable content to all regions. So Instagram is expanding its fact-checking program as part of its broader effort to stem the flow of misinformation. It is the latest in a series of contradictory approaches, as explained why Instagram is now expanding its fact-checking process beyond the US, which will see new warning labels added to all posts globally which share false information as determined by third-party experts. So I think this is a kind of a development from this whole fake news debate. I even saw a post the other day from Facebook advertising for independent fact checkers on their platform. So they are going in hard on that, and you should expect to start to see warnings when you're consuming content online as to whether or not it's fake news or not. Okay, so that concludes, what's the time? Yes, coming up to 20 minutes, bang on, kept it there. That concludes our roundup for December. So just to recap, we've got some new features on LinkedIn. We've got new metrics and reporting on advertising in Twitter and Facebook. We have got a new influencer dashboard coming for Instagram. We've got new layouts for stories on Insta. We've got new age restriction options for businesses on Insta. And we've got collaborative group stories option, which I didn't mention, but that'll be in the blog post. And the ability to invite connections to follow a company page on LinkedIn is back. So thank you so much to everybody who has joined us today, who has given us some reactions and has some interaction. Hopefully that wasn't too croaky for you. Becky is going to add a link to the full blog post with all the articles that we've spoken about today into the comments of this live video shortly. And we hope you will return at the end of January for our next update. But what leaves me to say is thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. And we will speak to you very, very soon. Take care. Bye.